Hey, this is BJ Shea from 99.9 KISW. It's a fine station here in the great state of Seattle. I know Seattle's not a state, it's a country, you moron. Anyway, you know what you're listening to? You're listening to the Friday Sports Riot on SportstownChicago.com.
This is the Friday Sports Riot on SportstownChicago.com. That was James Gomez of 104.3 The Fan. He came on to talk about the Rockies. He talked about
a little bit of Avalanche, a little Nuggets thing there with George Carl.
Oh boy, do they like to smoke those Nuggets over there in Denver.
And, yeah, mostly Rockies talk because it is baseball season. So.
Yeah. So here's one interesting thing. Ryan, you're going to read it. Last week we discussed that Colin Kaepernick was accused of sexually assaulting a girl down in Miami, the same old Miami where nothing good happens, and everybody was like, hey, he's the next Roethlisberger. He's the next Kobe. You know what? I said since day one, Ryan, there's no rape kit. A rape kit gets announced right away. And the fact that the media didn't say that there wasn't a rape kit, they wanted to make something out of nothing.
Right.
So, I was right when I said he's probably innocent. So read what happened, because it actually makes him look like a decent dude.
All right. The 49ers have decided to call a timeout on extension talks with quarterback Colin Kaepernick. According to NFL.com, the team has decided to put contract negotiations on hold.
Yeah.
While Miami police investigate an incident that Kaepernick was involved with on April Fool's Day.
Now, the investigation isn't over with by any means, but the fact that they have to do this makes me wonder something.
It does. Kaepernick, Quentin Patton, and Seahawks receiver Ricardo Lockett were all named in an incident report that was filed by an unnamed woman on April 3rd and released to the public on April 10th.
Why isn't that woman's name out there? I mean,
I have no
You're going to
clue.
accuse a top-tier player of sexual assault. Your name might as well be out there. It's not like you're underage. If you're underage, I get it. Like, they didn't release Jerry Sandusky's victims. I get that. But this is a woman who's accusing him of something awful, sexual assault. You should release her name. I don't care if she's a victim or not.
The incident report doesn't make any accusations against anyone, but the woman did say she got naked in front of Kaepernick, who left the room after the woman took her clothes off.
Probably because he had like 3 of his bays hitting him up on his phone.
Yeah. On the morning of April 2nd, the woman woke up in a hospital room and didn't, quote, remember she got there, or she didn't remember how she got there.
Yeah, because you got blacked out.
To the hospital.
She didn't remember that she didn't remember getting to the hospital because she blacked out. That's what happens when you black out. You don't remember.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think so, because, I mean, obviously you wouldn't remember it, right?
Yeah, they said she was smoking out of bongs, she was drinking vodka, she was mixing the alcohol. That's what leads to blacking out.
According to a separate police report, Lockett called 911 twice after the woman refused to leave his apartment. The Seahawks receiver called police at 12:03 a.m. and 12:20 a.m. on April 2nd because the woman was lying naked on Kaepernick's bed and refused to leave.
She passed out. Here's what I think happened. They said in the previous report that he was behind her, kissing her cheeks, like all romantic, swagged out. You know, that romantic thing. Yeah. I could see Kaepernick doing that. Yeah, I can see that. And I feel like she was probably either about to throw up or she was in that mode where she's just being kind of weird because she's drunk. And he's like, I can't do anything with this girl. It's going to be nothing.
Right.
So then she like passes out in the bed. Like maybe she was about to pass out. And he goes, oh no. What am I going to do with this girl? She's passed out on the bed. And then she wakes up in the hospital and goes, oh my God, this is embarrassing. I almost had sex with Colin Kaepernick. Then I blacked out. Mm-hmm. I'll say that he sexually assaulted me. Now, the investigation isn't over with by any means. But that's what I think happened, Ryan.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
And I think that probably is what happened. It seems to make sense to me, too. Going back onto the story, let's see here. Miami Fire Rescue was eventually dispatched to the apartment, and the woman was taken to the hospital around 12:32 a.m. And then in a series of tweets sent out on April 11th, Kaepernick maintained that he did nothing wrong. And here is his tweet. The charges made in the TMZ story and other stories I've seen are completely wrong. They make up things about me that never happened. I take great pride in who I am and what I do, but I guess sometimes you have to deal with someone who makes things up. I want to thank all of the people who have not shared their encouraging statements. Or who have shared their encouraging statements, not have. I assure you that your faith is not misplaced. And then CBS Sports NFL insider Jason La Canfora doesn't believe the incident will affect Kaepernick's asking price of $20 million a year.
It wasn't like he was going to get a high asking price because it wasn't like he choked against the Seahawks.
Right.
Do you think they'll pay him a lot?
Yeah. I mean, They definitely will, especially when they gave up on Alex Smith a couple years ago, so Kaepernick's their guy.
That could either crush Jim Harbaugh's legacy or save it. It really will.
Mm-hmm. And this is a quote from Jason Lankenfora. Kaepernick believes he belongs in the class of 20 million per season quarterbacks. And nothing has changed that. Certainly not the incident report and murky allegations against him. Kaepernick has been charged with nothing. Police eventually were in that apartment on the night in question to restrain the female and forcibly remove her from the suite, according to sources. Kaepernick did not invite her into the hotel room, and from what I'm hearing, Kaepernick was not even at the hotel for most of the night in question.
Okay, so then she's just making things up. She got blacked out. She almost hooked up with Kaepernick, but she's embarrassed that she got drunk, and she didn't want to be known as like one of the girls that just hooks up with athletes. So then she goes, I'll accuse him of rape. Who are they going to believe, me or the athlete with millions? And I'll try and get money out of him. I'm sick of this. Can you imagine what would happen if Kaepernick was naked on a girl's bed? Oh, he'd be the worst thing ever. We'd all crush him. He's a weirdo, you know?
Yeah.
Can you imagine if he was accusing women of raping him, of sexually assaulting him, and getting blackout drunk? He'd be irresponsible. He'd need to go to rehab. But when it's a poor possible victim, oh, she's going through a lot. I'm not saying it's official. She could have possibly been raped, but they said the rape kit was negative. I mean...
Yeah.
What else do you want?
If it's negative, it's negative, right? Like,
then nothing happened.
It's not like it was a lie.
And Kaepernick's religious. I'm not saying he's waiting till marriage to have sex, but I don't think he's going to be like forcing himself. He can pick up any girl he wants. He'll flex and say, I play in the NFL, and 5 girls will flock to him. Trust me. I don't get it, Ryan.
Yeah.
I just don't get this trend where girls can get away with punching guys. Both. If a guy punches her in self-defense, he's in trouble. I don't get this trend where if girls accuse guys of raping them, there's been athletes, there have been high school jocks, Ryan, who have spent 2 years in jail.
Yeah.
Because they've been accused of rape. It was like in San Diego or something. And then the girl goes, oh, yeah, he didn't really rape me. It was consensual. And nothing, there's no charges. But what if a guy did that and a girl spent 2 years in jail? A pretty cheerleader spent 2 years in jail.
That would never happen.
And a guy would go, oh, yeah, she didn't really rape me. There'd be charges against him. Trust me on that, folks. Ryan, do you get me?
Yes.
Very screwed up.
The Friday Sports Riot on SportsTownChicago.com.